fabled heat, where magic meets desire. Subscribe to ignite the fantasy.
The palace shuddered, a wounded beast beneath my boots, each tremor resonating deep within my bones. Dust motes danced in the blood-red light filtering through shattered stained-glass windows, painting the ravaged courtyard in shades of crimson and despair. I shielded little Robert, his small body trembling violently against mine, his weight a fragile anchor in the swirling chaos. His tiny fingers, so pale and delicate, gripped my robes with a desperate strength that tore at my heart. His fawn eyes, those impossibly large golden eyes, reflected the apocalyptic sky, mirroring the fear that threatened to consume us both. Gods, the resemblance was a constant ache, a cruel, beautiful reminder of a promise broken, a life stolen. They were his eyes, exactly like Kalen's, and seeing them filled with terror felt like a physical blow. Across the courtyard, a figure of dark power stood defiant against the encroaching darkness. Robert, he hadn't looked like this 3 years ago. 3 years since he left our quiet cottage nestled amongst the whispering willows, a traveler's pack slung over his shoulder and a vow etched onto his lips, a vow to return before the first snow. 3 years since the system had claimed him, dragged him into its intricate web of power and rewritten his very being, turning him into something more. Something I barely recognized. The scent of rosemary, faint but persistent, still clung to his abandoned pillow, a ghost of the life we once shared. I kept it under Robert's head, hoping it would somehow bridge the gap, remind him of home. Now corruption oozed between the cobblestones, a viscous black tide hissing against the protective wards woven into the soles of my boots. It smelled like burnt sugar and decay, a sickeningly sweet aroma that clung to the back of my throat. The creature looming over Cadria pulsed with a sickening rhythm, a grotesque heartbeat that echoed the palace's suffering. It was a monstrosity born of shadow and despair, its form constantly shifting, a kaleidoscope of nightmares. 1,000 eyes, each a swirling vortex of darkness, wept a viscous fluid that distorted the air, bending light and sound into grotesque parodies. My healing magic faltered, recoiling from the tendrils that lashed out, seeking to corrupt and consume. Diagnostic spells returned only static, a frustrating wall of interference. The wards held for now, but I could feel them straining, weakening with each pulse of the creature's power. I needed to reinforce them, but Robert needed me too. Robert's voice deeper now, roughened by command and something else I couldn't name, a coldness, a detachment sliced through the chaos. Talai, take him and go. The words were clipped, devoid of emotion, yet they carried the weight of a king's decree. His gaze met mine, a searing brand of amber fire against my glacier blue, and for a fleeting moment I saw a flicker of the man I loved buried beneath layers of power and control. It was gone as quickly as it appeared, replaced by the steely resolve of the Runeweaver. Then a spawn, a smaller but no less terrifying version of the main creature, crashed through the rose hedges, scattering thorns and petals like crimson snow. The creature's maw gaped, revealing crystalline teeth that sang with a chilling wrongness, a high-pitched whine that resonated in my skull. I spun, throwing myself in front of our son, shielding him with my body. I could feel the creature's fetid breath on my neck, the heat of its malice. Robert's mana blade, a shimmering arc of pure energy, cleaved through the spawn with effortless grace. Black ichor splattered my cheek, burning like acid, and I gasped, instinctively reaching up to wipe it away. Then his hand, calloused, marked with glowing runes that pulsed with power, covered mine, pressing against my face. His touch was surprisingly gentle, a stark contrast to the raw power he wielded. Still terrible at dodging, he murmured, his voice a low rumble that vibrated through my bones. A ghost of a smile touched his lips, a fleeting expression that sent a jolt of longing through me. His healing magic flowed through me, a familiar warmth that ignited a different kind of heat, a dangerous, forbidden warmth. It soothed the burning on my cheek, mending the damage with effortless ease. His thumb lingered, a deliberate caress against my jawline, tracing the curve of my bone. It was a small gesture, but it spoke volumes, a reminder of shared intimacy, of a love that hadn't been entirely extinguished. But the moment was shattered, the ground heaved and the palace gates imploded, sending a shockwave that threw me off balance. Stone and debris rained down around us and the air crackled with energy. A tremor ran through me, a dangerous pull towards the man who was both my protector and my torment. He was everything I wanted, everything I feared. The system had changed him, hardened him, but beneath the surface I sensed a flicker of the Kalen I remembered, a Kalen who was fighting to break free. Talai, he said again, his voice urgent. I can hold them, but only for a short time. You need to get Robert to the hidden passage. Old man Hemlock knows the way. I hesitated, my gaze locked with his. And you? A shadow crossed his face. I have to buy you time. Don't be reckless, I pleaded, my voice barely a whisper. Please. He didn't respond, his amber eyes filled with a sorrow that mirrored my own. He simply nodded, a silent acknowledgement of the risks. I knew arguing was futile. He was a Runeweaver now, a weapon forged in the heart of the system. Duty and power had become his masters. I tightened my grip on Robert's hand. Come on, little one, I said, forcing a smile. Let's go find old man Hemlock. As I turned to leave, Robert's hand tightened around mine, and I felt a surge of his power flow into me, a silent promise of protection. It was a dangerous gift, a reminder of the immense power he now possessed, but it was also a lifeline, a beacon of hope in the encroaching darkness. I glanced back at him one last time. He stood there, a solitary figure against the crimson sky, a warrior ready to face the storm. And I knew with a chilling certainty that this was not a goodbye. This was a reckoning.